especially being a superhero. So I wanted to invite on. I don't know how to do anything. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Especially being a superhero. So I wanted to invite on.
Huh?
I'm good. I guess we can give a minute till I can find them. Hopefully, if they're in here, they'll comment and then I can add them in.
They're
How
like
are you?
right now, though, right?
Pardon?
Are they filming right now?
I think they're on lunch, which is why this works out really
Right.
well. How are you? Tonight's the night where I become a superhero. I get to join your club.
To me, you've always been in this club.
Oh.
So it's very exciting. I can't wait to see it. How are you feeling about it?
Good. I think it doesn't feel real yet. I'm excited to watch it. I've just been so hardcore about promoting it because I just want people to tune in and I think it doesn't, it doesn't go real. It's like you're just going and going.
I know. Well, me and Mama Joe are tuning in. We're very excited.
Oh, I love it. Javisa and Candace just text me. They're coming right now. So, because I want to have a superhero group chat for everyone else since we have our own group chats, but it's like, to share with the world.
Yeah, a peek into our little private
of friendship. By the way, your super suit is so good.
Thanks, girl. It is pretty good. I love it. I do love it. Your super suit is amazing.
I love that we can say this. You and I have been friends for a long time, and it has nothing to do with acting or superhero stuff. So it's pretty cool that we can say this.
Yeah, crazy.
It'll never get old for me. Oh, here they go. Okay, let's add them both. This is happening, I think. I've never done a group live before.
Standing beside each other.
Yeah, oh no. You guys are gonna have to split.
What is that?
You guys are gonna have to split.
Oh. No,
or one of you have to exit out.
You have to exit out? Yeah. Hold on. Sorry.
There we go.
We don't know what
Hi.
buttons. Girl, you know I don't do live. I'm doing live for you.
Oh, wait, you probably can't hear us. Oh, well, we can't hear you. There we go. All right. We figuring it out.
Hi.
What's up?
Just talking to some of my friends before I could become a superhero.
I'm a superstar.
Sorry, Ivy, we were freaking talking and then 409.
We were dancing and then we were girl talking and then we forgot. We dropped the ball. My bad, sis.
You're here now, and Anna's here. She held it down.
Let me move these comments so I can see everybody.
So any superhero advice?
From us?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like how to play a superhero, how to be one in real life?
How to be one in real life.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. But Ozzy, you're very well versed in how to be a superhero.
I think I give my friends better advice than I take myself, which you guys probably know. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe
No, I got
what you got, Javicia?
I think for me, this sounds selfish, but sometimes I think I've learned this about myself. It's also about taking care of oneself. Like, in order to be able to truly give, and we always talk about this, in order to be able to truly give to people selflessly, you have to check in with yourself first. You have to check in with your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health. And so my superhero power lately has been like creating a healthy routine so that I can be the best version of myself when I leave the house. Mm-hmm. And then I'm able to give to other people.
That's so good. And you really do have a good routine with your Peloton and your journaling. And I've taken some of it from my own. How do I turn off the comments for a second so we can see? Do you guys know how to do that?
Is
there a way just so we can see everything? I don't know.
It's
fine. When it saves, I know it saves it with just the full screen. So, but
yes, that's true.
Like,
that's such a good answer, Javicia. And I know you, so I know how true that is to you. I've started journaling every morning ever since we talked about that again. I've picked it back up, and it's helped me so much with my mental health and just getting my thoughts in order first thing in the morning. What about you, Anna?
Ooh, you know, I want to start journaling. I need to start doing that. I used to do it all the time. It's really like, it's such a good way to get all of the like thoughts that are in your head that can like sit there and like fester or like go everywhere. But what do I do? I actually really do need to take some time and figure out my own, like, that was such good advice, Javisha. Like, I need to figure out my own self-care because I've been moving so much lately and doing so much. But,
You just went on a trip
I just went
by
on a
yourself, which is amazing.
Wow.
we were literally just talking about that.
Really?
She did.
solo trip. I have taken at this point probably 7 solo trips.
Wow.
They're phenomenal. It's my favorite thing to do. I look forward to doing it every year. So yeah, that's something I do. And what I was going to say is I have a great support system. Like I have an incredible family and I have really good friends. And so for me, that's the one thing, if I had to choose one thing that keeps me most sane and able to show up in the world. Yeah.
That's good. CP?
Yeah, same for me. That's a really good one, actually, on a support system, family and friends. Like sometimes it just feels like too much. I think a lot of people look at us and, oh, they're on TV, they're superheroes, we have it all together, and just every day is amazing. We just have it all, living the life. But it can be really challenging. We go through a lot of the challenges that, a lot of people face, COVID, and worry about our family members back home. And so for me, it's really having a network of people I can reach out to and rely on to kind of burden some of my feelings and the weight of my own life so that I can go back to work and be available to people and available to my other friends. So I'm like really, really grateful for the people in my life who make space for me to be myself, be a little messy and cry sometimes. Like the other day, because it allows me to wake up the next day and just feel a little less burdened so that I can be somewhat of a superhero to someone else, I guess.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like having your friends that allow you to be a shitty mess sometimes.
Girl,
I
messed up really need it.
Yeah. That's so good, you guys.
I just saw Kendrick just send us a little comment. I know Candace knows Kendrick too. So he's one of those people that, has seen, heard me.
Kendrick, who selflessly gives up so much of his time and self to help others, especially people who look like us. So
amen to that. Yeah.
Thank you. I haven't met Kendrick yet, but I feel like the fact that he's in here supporting this crew of women, I appreciate it.
Ozzy, with me.
I did go with you. You're right.
His Bold Power in LA, we went together, but I don't think you guys
did go to that together. My long-term or my short-term memory, all my memory is kind of gone. So I'm going to add something because I know you ladies all really well. That's also a mental health thing. Our pets and our therapists.
Yes. Therapy, yes. My dog is my therapy, and it's such a life. It's so nice. Like I meet with her every Sunday, 9 a.m. And it's just nice having the same person that I can check in with, who can, talk to me about my week, talk to me about the week coming up, and like kind of help it get outside of my head, similar to journaling. But also just having that wrapped up in the minutia of my life, like objectively see my triggers and see that are maybe not the best for me.
Yeah. Can I ask you, Candace, how long have you been in therapy?
This therapist I've been with for maybe a year and a half, and like faithfully going every week, every single week.
Oh, good.
And it's like, it's hard. Some days are great. Some weeks are great. And I really feel like, I have nothing to talk about. Actually, I'm up with this therapist, by the way. A little side note.
Set me up with mine too.
And
I'm like the therapist giver
right now.
I'll text you some on a
But I was gonna say, sometimes it's hard because, you know, some weeks you feel like great and you're like, I don't want to talk, I have nothing to talk about, but there's always something to look at and kind of like be responsible for in your life. And so it's really helpful for me.
Yeah, it's funny because I tend to take ownership of so much. So for me, it's the opposite. I take ownership of everything, even shit that I have no control over.
Yeah.
And the same with me with the therapist that I've been going to is she showed me like you can't take ownership of everyone's actions.
Yeah.
You know, you have to address the situation and figure out what's the healthiest for you. Be responsible for your decision. If it means cutting someone off out of your life because they're not healthy for you, like you got to take responsibility of that decision. You have to also understand that it's not going to feel easy. It may not go down the easiest, but if that's your decision, that's your decision. But you cannot feel, I take ownership of everything. I'm always like, did I do this? Is there something that I can change about myself?
I'm similar too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, they don't want to be my friend anymore. It must have been my fault. Or, oh, we got to out. It was completely my fault because I just don't want to be a shitty person.
Right.
So I'm like,
and even on top of that, I feel like what I've recently realized, especially as like Black women, the idea of like, oh, you're so strong or you take on so much, and like we shouldn't have to, you know, not just taking ownership of everything, but realizing what's really mine to take on for my mental health and what's not.
Yeah.
Setting boundaries.
yeah.
Okay for me, yeah.
Boundaries are hard.
Dogs, journaling, family, friends.
This is like some real superhero stuff right here, you guys. I love this. Is like real life, real. I love it.
Yes.
It's been great for me too, like having you ladies on. You know, I don't get to see you as much. I wish, but like just having, for me specifically, in a place like Vancouver, having Black women who look like me, who have experiences like me, to be able to come to you guys on weekends or just chat throughout the day, like, and say like, am I crazy? Is this crazy?
Yeah.
Am I crazy to feel this way?
Yeah.
Really have a mirror, you know, just to, you know, hear from your sisters, like, no, you're not crazy. Yeah, girl, you acting a little,
You tripping.
a little bit, like, you know, because when it's coming from your sister, I can receive it a lot better, you know?
That, like, I watch as you two, like, bounce things off of each other, and you're very brutally honest with each, especially Ozzy. Anyone that knows Ozzy is brutally honest.
Will come from
Love it.
I
There's also the space where you, as women in this industry, sometimes we don't know when we're being taken advantage of, especially if you're a first time this or a first time that. You start to feel like you're so grateful for the opportunity. You sometimes take less than you deserve because we were talking about this. You just don't feel like you deserve it.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't until having conversations with Ozzy or having conversations with Candace where I find out, like, no, I do deserve this, or I deserve, you know, this treatment when I'm at work, or this pay, or this type of trailer, or whatever. Like, you start fighting for the things because your friends are there to tell you, girl, I've seen it, and you deserve, if not as much, more, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. I would say too, something you said made me think of this about myself, that I think for so long too, I've been this is going to sound really sad and depressing, but I've been used to a certain amount of, amount of like disrespect and like, and so you come into spaces where, because you're so used to not being treated how you should be for so long, you can't even sometimes even recognize when something is super wrong. And for me, taken like working with a lot of like white co-stars, frankly, they're like, no, I'm not doing that. And no, you can't do me like that. And no, to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm not doing that either. You can't speak that either. But because I've been like, does that make sense?
But
It's like a relearning.
It's not even just this industry. It's how we are raised as Black women.
Yes, 100%.
We were raised, first of all, how respect is in our household, like just saying yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, and things like that. We tend to always come very much like, you know, like
when spoken to, like,
authority, respecting everyone. And sometimes we'll be standing next to our co-stars and they start talking crazy. And you're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Like, start realizing like, oh, well, they can because, you know, they've earned this right to ask for what they want. They've earned this right to demand certain things that we as Black women, just by how we were raised, sometimes don't walk into a room like that.
I had to learn that the hard way. Like starting out in the beginning and watching everybody behave or do whatever they wanted to do to get what they needed, and not even a bad way, like respect to them, but like for me to do it, it wasn't okay.
It wasn't the same,
you know, and I had to learn very quickly, like I had to put being respected over being liked. You know? And so I had to choose to come in and say, you know, talk the way my co-stars talked, ask for the things my co-stars asked for, and know that it was going through a lens of like, who does this Black woman think she is, asking for this stuff and demanding stuff the way, because they weren't seeing it as equal. They were seeing it as she's being uppity, she's doing too much. You know, I had to decide very early on, do I want to be liked, or do I want to have the things I need to have a successful time at work?
But that's so historical in our country. I mean, like, it goes back. Like, even when I watch, like, Dorothy Dandridge, that movie, stuff like that, like, it's always been, as a Black person, we can be equally as talented, but we're supposed to always feel like we're less than our counterpart in the room, no matter.
And it's like an unspoken thing sometimes.
It's an unspoken thing. To the point that the elders in the industry, I had an elder tell me, like, you know, we got to remember to play our role. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? No, that's not right. You know?
Tell me that too.
And I
It's
think
a different generation.
Mm-hmm.
It's surviving. It's surviving, not thriving.
Yeah, they paved so many roads for us too. So it's no knock to what they had to do to survive and what they had to do to get where they are. But yeah, it's definitely time to shift all of that.
What do you guys think about, there's so much talk, and I think all of us, there's like firsts, right? Like, and all of us have been first in this Arrowverse world in a different way. Candace, you're like the OG of everyone. HBC's the first Batwoman, and Anna, you were first with Starfire and HBO Max, and doing like, and I just was the first for writing this episode. What does that mean to you guys? Because it's a very mixed feeling for me.
Oof. I mean, it's such an honor and such a double-edged sword at the same time. Like, being often means that you are going to get the brunt. I know, like, I got the brunt of it. There was no one like me before on the network, like a leading female as the ingenue on a superhero show. And it was really scary because I was playing a only white character. And in our genre, the fans are pretty outspoken. And a lot of people are not very nice about it. Person to receive, you know, the threats, the death threats, the hatred, the racist, and nobody knew how to do that, deal with it. Nobody knew how to protect me. And so being first often means going through that alone. And that's a sad, you know, an unfortunate like experience to have. But with that, you know, I got to meet you guys, I got to pass on some knowledge and some like support. And so that makes me proud at the same time. So it's a double-edged sword.
And you're a huge role model.
I hope so. I mean, I hope if there's anything out of it, it's that, you know, we can persevere. I hate that we have to, but it's possible.
Yeah. You're so amazing at this. I'm just so grateful, like, because I remember when, you know, I got cast, similar backlash, hate messages, threats, all that stuff. And then he was like, need to meet Candace. And I was like, Candace, that's right. She has been through this. You're still so just, I don't know. I just love the way that you've made it through and the way that you continue to like shine and move through the world so gracefully. So I just, I couldn't adore and love it more. So yeah, but it is a double-edged sword. I agree with that completely. Yeah.
What about you, Ezzy?
I think it's, look, the writing is amazing, and it's something I didn't dream for myself. And so if anyone else thinks that they could get behind the camera more, because that's real change, is in writers and directors and storytellers, that's where I really want to see all of us and see representation. I think representation on screen is like the very, very first step. Behind the camera is where the real change happens.
Power.
It's hard, you know. If I'm gonna be honest. When I first got the show, Anna and I were volunteering at the Children's Hospital, and she was like, "It's a lot. Like they're gonna be really. It's gonna be a lot." And even with that warning, when the role was announced, because I think most of us, or all of us, play characters like that aren't Black characters in the comics, technically. And I think that while one part of it is really beautiful in that there's a whole generation of people that only know these characters as Black women, there is a generation that has a really hard time with change in this way. And so if I'm honest, I think I was really naive at first. I've grown a lot. I've grown a lot in this experience and gotten a lot tougher and stronger. And, you know, like I said, I think with all of you ladies and in Candace and Anna specifically, because you guys, I reached out to you because you were before me. You guys were able to keep a lot of level head and softness and not hardened. And I think that is a superpower because it's not
a bit.
Huh?
But I don't know. I've hardened a bit.
Also,
outward facing. I mean, in our private time, that's something different. But I mean,
you're
still really positive. You throw it at me.
Yeah.
So like I don't know if that's hardening. That's maturity and that's experience.
Yeah.
And like I know everyone that knows you is grateful for what advice you have to give now. So
yeah.
I this quote, I think it was Will Smith. He was saying that the most difficult thing in this industry is trying to maintain or protect or still have your purity because it's so challenged all of time.
Yeah.
And especially with us and what we've gone through in receiving pure vitriol and hate, like, yeah, that's something that I've been, that's just something that I try to stay very aware of because I don't want for people to get the best of me. And my best is like my goodness and my purity. So, and as is yours, you know, and so just protecting that, whatever it takes to protect that, I think is important.
It's so crazy that you're saying that because the first thing Ozzy said to me, because I saw her right before our hiatus and we came back, you know, this summer, and she was like, "Girl, I can tell you were dealing with it because like your light was gone," and like it had to remind me, like you're right, Anna, like you can't let this industry, this situation, still what makes you like. What made you a star from the get-go? Because what is your light.
Yes.
For me, on this show, like, it's like Ozzy said, it was Candace, like the double-edged sword. Like, again, I'm also very grateful, very honored. But it has been an uphill battle. And there's one thing when you make a decision like this and it's backed in every way possible. It's backed through casting that follows behind your casting. It's backed through your stand-ins, your stunt doubles, your driving stunt doubles. It's one thing when everything is backed. It's backed in casting. It's backed in story development. It's backed in character development. But when you make these type of castings and it's not supported and backed, it feels in like an uphill battle.
Yes.
And you're in it by yourself. And I mean, everyone doesn't even realize how blindly little things like posts and tweets and stuff like that make your battle harder. You know, I'm on a show that was originally cast with a completely different actress. And like, so I'm already dealing with that, right? The character was gone, but then we bring the character back and it gets recast by another fan favorite. And it's just like, it was like a constant uphill battle that I still to this day fight. But what I will tell you is, I understand what this means. I understand what our positions mean to so many people. And that's the most important part. You know what I mean? Like, and I do give credit to our writing room because this season for sure, like Robin Givens is playing my mom. You know what I mean? Like I got a brother in here and it's really like the cast is filling out to show real, you know, like a supportive representation. But it was hard. I'm not even going to lie. It was hard in the beginning. This is not easy. It's not.
No, it's not.
Being a first, it's so worth it when you know that you have provided any type inspiration for this.
I was like out of a job, like wanted a series regular. I was like, God, please give me a job and something that like means something that I can change the world.
Not just a job.
I was like, please let me change the world.
Yes. Girl, that was my prayer.
And careful what you ask for, because God be listening.
God listens. It's true.
I said, I want to do something that puts me in history books.
Mm-hmm.
Verbatim. But when I said it, it was because I was inspired by Dorothy Dandridge, and it was why I was inspired by Eartha Kitt, and I was inspired by Nina Simone. But what we forget is the hell that they went through when they were making that difference. And my hell ain't nothing like their hell. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say that there's any comparison, but it's not an easy battle.
Yeah.
Sorry if I exposed too much.
No.
Girls are talking.
No, we're keeping it real here. I feel this is like, you know, again, black women superheroes doing first is
hard.
Hard. Hard.
It's a journey, and I was doing a bunch of press yesterday for the episode, and I think people were surprised to hear how close we are. And I was like, I don't know if I would have. I mean, this experience is doable when you have people that you can reach out to, and like we were saying earlier, like, is this normal, or how did you handle this, or you know, I don't know how many times my first season I text Candace, can I tweet this? And she was like, no.
Ask her ass. She'll say, girl, I'll tweet it for you.
I'll tweet it for you. Give it a
Yeah.
No.
She was like, but if you do, I'll retweet it. But you know, it's like you want to be a good role model, and you want to focus only on the positive. But you know, I've grown a lot. Bullying's a real thing. You see 100 nice comments, and you see one that's really awful, and it's hard to shake that one. You get tougher skin, and you get better about it.
And also, what makes me sad is it makes it harder for you to want to connect with the fandom, because
that's the worst part of it.
In that sense, like, it's not worth it. My mental health is not worth engaging with the fans, which is what we so deeply want to do. Like,
it gets scary.
It gets scary just for me. It's not worth it. My day is going great. I don't need to get on the you know, I doesn't have red hair. I hate you. Like, for what?
Yeah.
I'm over here just living my best life. I don't need to see that.
Yeah.
So it just makes it harder to want to engage with fans, because you can't have that like safe interaction. That's the part that makes me the most sad. That's what I want to do the most.
Yeah. For me, when I would do these type of lives on our Batwoman account, I'd have to turn off the comments, because I couldn't even talk to whomever I was, you know, interviewing of the moment, because it would just be such things that it would almost distract me from the conversation. And I think I go pretty hard. Like, I'm not a very sensitive person, but like, how am I having a conversation with someone that's at the bottom of the screen, and there's comments that are coming up above that person's face that are just like some of the most horrible shit I've seen. It's just, it's hard.
Yeah. What do you guys do? I mean, how have you guys learned over the years? And I know some of these answers because I've asked you guys personally, but to protect yourself and do your job and focus on your legacy with all of that.
Yes, focus
legacy in this world.
I mean, a lot of it hurts less, to be honest. Like, it's not that the comments stop, that I genuinely don't get triggered by a lot of stuff, because I've heard it all. So that is a good thing, unfortunately. And then also, I'm just very good at knowing how to avoid things that I know are going to put me in a space. If that means not going live, if that means not reading messages, if that means not reading comments, whatever that is, I take very seriously my mental health and what makes me be able to get through the day successfully. I will protect that before anything and everybody, because I've been down that rabbit hole, and it's just not worth it. So I don't know. I take that very seriously.
Same. For me, I agree with her. Like, I don't really do Instagram or Twitter as much anymore, just because I felt like I've done a lot to block pretty much anything you can say to me. Like, I've pretty much blocked every target word I could think of.
Those target words, man.
Even outside of just the negativity, that's one thing. But sometimes it's just the self-doubt and comparing yourself to other people. Or you see something that your cast member may post where you know it's not necessarily supportive of whatever. Like, there are little things that happen that trigger you that you didn't even intentionally walk into. You didn't try to, you know? So for me, what I've noticed lately, I don't know if you guys saw the Emmys, but Michaela Cole, when she went up there, she talked about visibility and how are starting to believe that visibility equals success, and how, and I really agree with this as an artist. Like, where do we find our inspiration from? We're constantly
On this thing.
That is like fake inspiration.
Reality.
Yeah.
Isn't even real. They know it's not real, but they put it up. It's super filtered, it's super fake, it's super phony. But now we think this is real life, so this is what we're inspired by. So we're all inspired by a filter. And I'm not talking about like an actual filter or whatever. I'm talking about, you know, a general life.
Yeah.
And so for me lately, it's just been like not even looking at it. Like, I have my book that I take with me everywhere.
What you reading?
What are you reading?
It's called The Sacred Woman. It's by Queen Afua.
Love it.
It is a guide to healing the feminine body, mind, and spirit.
Ooh.
Y'all should check her out. She's amazing.
I my face, because that's the least offensive thing.
Hey.
I think people think that I'm like so self-absorbed and vain, but it's the only thing that I can post. That and my dog. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I just keep it simple, post my face, post my dog.
But you shouldn't have to do that. You should be fudge you want to
I
post.
should, but I know it's just not worth it. So
I mean, y'all know I don't ever post. I'm just not on socials like that because, like, I'm having a great time. Like, I'm having a good day. I'm focused on this, that, and the other. And like, because my introduction, like, I got Instagram for Titans, and so because my introduction to it was so,
oh wow,
like, naturally, like, it's not something that I
what
be like, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's definitely stepping away from social media whenever I just want to, you know, is helpful. But yeah, I
know you all really aren't on here like that, so I really appreciate you coming out to support your girl. I know what a big deal this is for all of you.
I don't know if you saw Kyler just commented, and so we're filming together and we were talking about social media, and she's like, I'm never on social media. I'm only getting on social media today to support Ozzy. And
that's very sweet. And thanks, Kai. Yeah, she's never on it either. And is always very thoughtful when she does post. You said something, or when you showed the book, I thought that was really interesting. And Candace, I'm not going to call you out. You don't have to share the book that you recommended to me. But Anna, when I thought we could all recommend a book, but I had a really hard year last year, and I took a beat, and I actually went to Toronto and stayed with Anna and had an Eat, Pray, Love week with my friend. And when I showed up at her house, she had a book for me as a gift right away. Oh, do you remember that?
I do remember that. I remember that trip. I remember giving you that book. Yeah, I do.
And that book was really instrumental. Do you remember what it was?
I can't believe you actually I can't believe, but I'm so happy that you responded to it that way. Because you know, when you never know how people are going to respond to the things that really mean a lot to you.
Yeah. No, it was amazing. Do you want to share with people your book that you gift your friends when they're having a hard day?
Books. There's A Return to Love, and they're both the same author, actually, and A Return to Prayer, and they're both by Mary Williamson. I find that she is one of the most gifted writers when it comes to writing prayers. Just the way that she, for me, it just speaks very much to me. So whenever I'm going through anything, I'll like go in the part of the book that relates to whatever it is I'm dealing with, and it's very healing for me. And A Return to Love also is another one of her books that I also share often, and that she just speaks honestly about kind of what I was talking about earlier about maintaining one's light and one's purity in a world that is constantly challenging that. And so, yeah.
Candace, do you have anything you'd recommend? Yeah, those are good. Gifting books is like a really good way to show your friends love.
Yeah.
Well, the book I finished, which I mentioned to you, is called Finding Meaning in the Half of Life by James Hollis. And I hate saying that title because when it was recommended to me, I was like, wait a minute. I'm second half of my life, slow your roll. But it's really about, it's not even about that. It's about going through transitions in your life, being awakened to what we are really here for, which is essentially like return to self.
Mm-hmm.
And understanding your purpose and why you're here on this earth. And it can be a little dense in some points. I don't know where you are in the book, Ozzy, but there's some really like aha moments I had in that book, like realizing that this journey in life is solely mine. Nobody can save me. And every time I try to move away from that, whether it's in friendships or relationships or family or job or whatever, it will never answer the question of why I'm here. And I can only do that by returning back to myself. The hardest work of your life, to be with yourself, listen to yourself, and deal with yourself.
Yeah. Javisa, do you have a book?
My favorite is The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron.
We've talked about this.
Ooh, that's on my list.
My life last season, because I was like depressed.
That's why I journal every morning.
That's why I journal every morning.
Same.
I was depressed and I couldn't figure out how to get out of the funk. I was here by myself. It was raining every day. It was dark every day. And so I started the book, and it took me on this really cool journey where I got to just spend time with myself and actually love it and enjoy it. And I was telling Candace that when it's time for me to get married, he got to have his own house.
It's like, girl, you can't even live in the bedroom next door. Like,
Nope, you got to get
I love it.
You know that there was this like New York Times article about this couple that lived in separate houses, but they just had a drawbridge that connected the two homes. I thought that was. I'll send you the picture. I'll send you the article. It's very inspiring.
I was just about to say that I want a huge ranch anyway, so we'll be great at coexisting.
I think I would say, and it's another book that Anna put me on to, but The Untethered Soul is another one that's really good.
oh,
Yeah.
That
Just
was-
like, you know, and you forget that in any moment, everything in your life is a choice, and you really don't have to do it. Like, we are choosing to do everything in our life, and also we get to. And I know that, I think Candace, we've talked about this, but instead of saying like I have to, like I get to do everything in a day.
Yeah.
I get to go to work today. I get to go to the gym.
We need to get to go to our
yeah.
final touches.
I have to go do my job.
Well, is there any, okay, before we leave, for each of us, since there's just so much like wonderfulness in this track, I guess I would say, like, what would you want your legacy to be in this world, or what would you want our fans, especially young girls, especially young girls of color, young Black girls, to take away from your experience in this world?
That it's okay to, not more than okay, that you can and should take up space because you are worthy and you are valid. That would be the most nice way that I could.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I can only speak for currently because of the conversations her and I have been having today. And like, I think there's this idea that we all have to play this role. We're supposed to get married. We're supposed to have kids by a certain age, and we're all like running around like birds with our heads cut off because we think that we're supposed to be doing something. And it kind of piggybacks on what Anna's saying, where it's just like, find what makes you happy no matter what they say you should be doing at that time. You know, take up space where you enjoy yourself and don't feel like you have to do anything because of anyone else. Because at the end of the day, we come in here, we come in here alone, we're going to leave alone. And there's nothing selfish about choosing to live for yourself first. There's nothing selfish about that. And I just also, like we talked about in the beginning of the conversation, I think you're a better person when you've made those decisions before you give up your.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I feel like I hope my legacy, or what people remember for this time in my life, was, I don't know, some sort of grace under fire, you know, try to handle it as well as possible. Sometimes not great, really great. And I guess that would be my advice to people, and especially girls that look like us, is, you know, bend but don't ever break. You know, I had conversations. I'm leaving the show. I'm done. I'm out. I'm not. And for me, what always kept me coming back was there are people who love this character, who are dying to see themselves on screen. And if I stop now, everybody that's supposed to be coming after me on these shows, like, it just re-solidifies the idea to the higher ups, like, oh, it doesn't work. Those characters don't work.
Yeah.
They're not successful. So I had to stay in, like, dig my feet in and make Iris successful.
Yeah.
because I needed there to be other Iris Wests, you know? And so as hard as it was, I mean, that is my advice. Bend, do not break.
I don't know if you realize this, but all three of us are here after you. So you opened the door for this to exist. For them
Amen.
it
Profitable.
matters. Profitable.
Profitable.
But if your face wasn't on screen, it wouldn't have happened. And that's big.
Thank you.
There's franchises because of that.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I think I would say don't apologize for any part of who you are, because I apologize a lot. Don't shrink to make somebody else comfortable. Shine as bright as you can, and if they can't handle your shine, then they don't need to be around you.
That.
But it's true, as women, I find myself all the time being like, oh, I'm sorry, can I, or like, yeah, I'm sorry. And it's like, to make other, you know, I think it's a combination of what you're all saying about taking up space, bend and don't break, allowing ourselves to be our full selves. And even if that makes someone else uncomfortable, stepping into asking for things, not apologizing, shining. It just empowers ourselves and hopefully empowers other people to do the same.
Yes.
Well, I love you guys. I know a couple of you have to get back to work.
Before we get off, like, I'm so proud of you. What you've accomplished for this episode tonight is not unnoticed, and enjoy. You deserve every bit of like shine that you're getting right now. I know you've worked so hard. I heard your conversations, going through drafts and trying to make it right, because you care so much about not only your character, but about the show and representation of the show. And so I'm really, really, really proud of you.
Thank you.
I don't know where you are in the world right now, but just make sure you're surrounded by some people that you love. You deserve every single moment of tonight. Every single moment of tonight.
Shine on, baby.
So, girl, just live in that love.